What's up guys, it's Z here, welcome back to Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck of the Day. Today we are starting to take a look at the new decks that we get from the new set, Amazing Defenders. We got 3 new archetypes and we're going to cover all of them, but I wanted to start it with the one that I feel like has the most potential just because of how generic ritual archetypes have become in the past few years and the support they have gotten that it can be splashed in pretty much any archetype. So we're going to take a look at Mikanko, but this is not pure Mikanko, this is a Libromancer Mikanko deck because I was trying to play the deck pure, but I just felt like without Libromancers, you lose on a lot of free stuff that you have access to. So when you're playing a ritual deck pretty much nowadays, you kind of have to include a lot of supplementary engines to make work better, because the pure archetypes, they have to be really good in order to be able to function on their own, just like Necros was back in the day, but unfortunately they don't print any archetypes with rituals like that anymore today, so we have to say that we need to be able to play it with other stuff to make it competitive. So before we begin with the video, if you enjoyed, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our upcoming content, and now let's get to the deck proof. So starting off with the boss monster of the deck, we have 3 copies of Mikanko of the Ohime. So this is the main ritual monster that the deck has, and it's a monster that does a lot for the deck. First of all, you are not ritual summoning this card in this particular deck because there is a spell card that can summon it from the hand, ignoring in summoning conditions. That's the most optimal way to get access to it, so you don't have to tribute any monsters for it. It cannot be destroyed by battle, and your opponent takes any damage you would take from battles involving this card, so you can start attacking with this card on your opponent's monsters so you can deal more damage to them. And you can reveal this card in your hand to add a Mikanko card from your deck to your hand and then discard it. And as a quick effect while it's on the field, you can target an equip spell in the graveyard and equip it to an appropriate monster on the field. So this card in the hand is a searcher, so before you ritual summon it, you can activate its effect to get a plus, and then while it's on the field, you can use its effect to equip a card, and there is a certain equip spell that is very easy to get to the graveyard that you can basically snatch steal an opponent's monster. So this card is searcher, it's disruption, it's very easy to get access to, and it does a lot for the deck. So I feel like this is the best part of the Mikanko archetype, and it's the card that we have to make the most use out of in pretty much any type deck we're trying to build. We're playing 3 copies of Cyber Angel Ben 10. We are playing Libromancers, so we need to be able to get some really good tributes for the ritual summons to get more value. And of course, Ohime is a light fairy monster, so we can search it with Ben 10 as well, so there's some synergy in that too. And we play 1 copy of Libromancer Doombroker. This is the card that is going to search your disruption for the Libromancer part of the deck, so you can basically try to get as many interruptions as possible in the field by using a lot of different types of archetypes together. So Doombroker searches a disruption, Ohime is another disruption on her own, and then you can also maybe have some hand traps in your hand or get a link monster or 2 on the field like a Masquerena or an Appaloosa to be able to disrupt your opponent. So that's it for the ritual part of the deck. Now we're going for more of the cards that are going to access all those cards. So we play 3 copies of Libromancer Geek Boy. I'm pretty sure everyone knows what the Libromancers do by now. These cards, you can special summon them by revealing a ritual monster from your hand, and when this card is special summoned, you can add a Libromancer spell from your deck to your hand. And these of course cards are psychic monsters, so Geek Boy being a level 3 psychic means that you can summon it with E-Tail as well from the deck. We're playing 3 copies of Libromancer Fire. Unfortunately, this card is a level 4 monster and a Cybers monster, so it does have synergy with Emergence Teleport, but again, it's another card that you can special summon from the hand very easily by revealing a ritual monster, and this card searches you a Libromancer monster from your deck when you special summon it. So yeah, these cards, as long as you can get access to a ritual monster, which is very easy with all the search cards we play, you can special summon them. They are free tribute fodder from Doombroker, and they also search you more cards. The normal summon of the deck is 3 copies of Diviner of the Heralds. This card does a lot. Not only can you search with Diviner of the Herald by sending Herald of the Arclight, but going second, she can pop a card with NTSS, and the fact that she can become level 6, especially now because of all the cards that we play for the Bestial engine, so you can make any rank 6 play, so we can summon Wallow, we can summon something like a Utopia Beyond for going second, and of course if you combine a level 6 tuner Diviner of the Heralds with, for example, Monster Fire, you can also make Baron, which is another disruption on the field. So yeah, Diviner just does so much for the deck. We're playing 1 copy of Herald of Orange Light. This card unfortunately had to get limited because of the Ishizu stuff in the tier element decks. I hope that once the deck gets hit more and the deck does not tier 0 anymore, this card can potentially come back to 3, especially if they hit multiple pieces of the Ishizu archetype, because this card was a really big help for any fairy decks, but unfortunately it got splashed in something broken, so it had to go. But yeah, we're still playing the 1 copy because when you see it, it's really good. It's a really good card for either disruption when you're going second, or when you're going to be able to disrupt your opponent when they hand trap you during your own first turn. So yeah, it's a Call by the Grey type of card. They can also be a hand trap, and we do play a lot of fairies in the hand, and sometimes you're going to have some excess fairies, so you're not nearly negging by discarding this with another fairy. You do have a lot to discard. And of course we are playing the Bestials because in any type of deck you're playing these days, you kinda have to include Bestials. You're forced to because of how good Ishizu tier elements are, so we're playing 3 copies of Magnamut. The Bestials in this deck can also function as Xyz material with Diviner, so you don't really have to open 2 of them in order to go into something like Wallow, because you have a lot of level 6 monsters you can summon Ohime is also a level 6 monster if you need to exist with her, but Diviner is the easiest target to do so by sending a fairy from the deck to the grave. And of course, Magnamut says is another one of the bestials during the end phase. We're playing 3 copies of Druid's Worm, be able to send some other cards to the grave when this card is sent to the graveyard. And we also play 1 copy of Saronir just to have just 1 extra bestials. When you're playing 7 and you have Herald of Oran's Light in the deck, you're playing 8 hand traps, so it's a really good one. For the spell cards, we play 1 copy of the Great Mikanko of Legend. This is a card that special summons Ohime from the hand without needing to ritual summon. It's a quick play that you can special summon a Mikank from your hand, ignoring any summoning conditions, but it gets back to your hand during your opponent's next end phase. But it doesn't matter too much because you only need 1 turn in order to disrupt your opponent, and then you can go and OTK them during the following turn. And this card is really good because it has another effect that during your main phase you can banish it from the graveyard to send a Mikanko card from your deck to the graveyard, and the card you're going to be sending to the graveyard is the 1 copy of Inviting Rondo of the Mikanko, which is basically a snatch steal. You can equip it to an opponent's monsters, you take control of it while you control a Mikanko monster, and if it leaves the field, the equipped monster sent to the graveyard. So the thing is, Ohime is a card that can equip any equip spell from the graveyard to an opponent's monster. So what you want to do is you want to special summon Ohime by using the Great Mikanko of Legend after you search it with Ohime herself, and then Mikanko of Legend, you can banish itself to send Rondo to the graveyard, and then during your opponent's turn, Ohime is going to equip Rondo to one of your opponent's monsters, so you snatch steal it, and that's basically the Mikanko part of the deck, so you can use it to get another interruption on top of maybe having a Doombroker on the field with 1 copy of Intervention, and then you can combine this with Olusa, with Masquerena, with other cards, and you see the point of the deck. You're trying to get the most out of each individual ritual archetype so you can get more interruptions all the board. So this 5-card Mikanko engine is the part of the deck that I feel like gives the deck some more power that it desperately needs, because Libromancers on their own, they could not do much, and of course Mikankos on their own, again, they cannot do much, so you need to combine them if you were trying to play the deck to the most competitive level possible. We're playing 3 copies of Libromancer First Appearance. This is the field spell of Libromancers. It adds a monster one from the deck when you have different ones from the field, and it's also a card that allows you to ritual summon your Doombroker by tributing monsters from your hand or field with levels equal to or more to Doombrokers. This card is very easily searchable, and it's also a searchable searcher, so you can get the entire package very easily by opening 1 or 2 cards. And we also play 1 copy of Terraforming to be able to search the field spell. We're playing 3 copies of Emergency Teleport, another amazing card for the deck, again because Geek Boy is a level 3 psychic, so you can get it from the deck to get another search. We're playing 3 copies of Preparation of Rites. All the ritual monsters in the deck, they are very, very low levels. They're all level 6, so you can search every single one of them. You can either search Benten if you need another search. If you need Ohime, you can get access to her, so yeah, Preparation is amazing in deck. We're playing 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity. This card is kinda necessary, I would say, in the deck. If you don't have access to it, then of course you can play other stuff, but Prosperity is a card that, especially in a ritual deck, that you need certain types of pieces in your hand sometimes to be able to combo and function the combo properly. You need a card like Prosperity in order to find the missing piece. But again, if you don't have access to it, maybe you can throw like 2 more Saronirs in there, maybe a playset of Permanence or something like that. But it's replaceable, but it's really, really good in the deck if you have it. And the last card in the main deck is 1 copy of Libromancer Intervention to be able to get basically another disruption by using your Doombroker on the field as a material to get back to your hand, so you can get another interruption on top of Ohime Snatched. For the extra deck, we play 2 copies of Herald of the Arclight. It's the card you're going to be sending the most to the graveyard with your Diviner, be able to get another search, and because it's a level 4 monster, Diviner becomes level 6, which makes her material for either this 1 copy of Baron de Flor that we have here, that is another card that you can summon with Libromancer Fire and your Diviner to get more interruption, or another or more Xyz monsters we're going to talk about later. We have 1 copy of Elder Entity NTSS. It's a card that going second makes Diviner even more broken to be able to pinpoint a card and basically make your opponent waste an interruption or they lose a card. Especially against decks that have floodgates, this card is really, really good Diviner. For the Xyz monsters, we play 1 copy of Wallow, Founder of the Drudge Dragons. This is a card that now in any deck that plays a lot of bestials or in any deck that plays level 6 monsters in general, it's a necessary piece in the extra deck just because of how good it is at interrupting Sisu tier elements. So this deck is no different. We play a lot of level 6 monsters aside from even the bestials, so it's very easy to summon this card. We're playing 1 copy of number 39, Utopia Beyond. This is the card you're going to make when you're going second, and you need to make a Zeus to be able to break your opponent's board, because making Wallow going second doesn't do much, but having 2 level 6 monsters, you can summon this card without using any materials. It's going to make the attack of all of your opponent's monsters 0. You're going to run over something, and then during your second main phase, you're going to Xyz summon this Gaia Dragon, the Thunder Charger, on top of it, and because you did not activate any materials, you did not attach any materials to activate Utopia Beyond's effect, you're going to make the 1 copy of Sky Thunder Zeus on top of your Gaia Charger, and you basically have a 4 material Zeus this way, so you can use the effect twice to make sure that it goes off if the first effect gets negated. We're playing 2 copies of Sprite Elf. This card is another broken card in the deck just because we do have the level 2 Diviner, so being able to cycle Diviner over and over again especially during our opponent's turn where we can send NTSS to the grave to get another interruption, makes this card really good in it. We're playing one copy of Masquerena. It's a card that you can use to basically make sure that if you don't have enough copies, enough materials for Apollousa, you can use your Ohime or maybe another card you have on the field during your opponent's turn to be able to make Apollousa during your opponent's turn to get more interruption. We're playing one copy of Dark Charmer. Because of the Bestials, we do have dark monsters in the deck. Usually we don't have easy access to a card like this, but because the Bestials are so good in this deck, and in pretty much any other deck right now, we can make this card as well to steal some powerful monsters. We play one copy of Unicorn, in case we need to summon this instead of Apollousa during our opponent's turn with Masquerena. Speaking of which, we also play one copy of Apollousa above the Goddess. It's a card that on top of pretty much anything, you can make sure that this card sticks on the field, because you do have Ohime now that you can snatch steal the monster that is trying to destroy her once she has like 1600 attack or 800 attack, so you can make sure you get all of her effects. And one copy of Access Code Talker. Going second, this deck can spam really a lot of monsters because all the monsters special summon themselves, you do have Teleport, you do have the Bestials, so it's very easy to link Climb to Access Code, be able to destroy your opponent this way. So yep, that's the deck, guys. Mikankos are a very interesting archetype. Hopefully, when we get more support down the road, maybe the deck will be able to function a little bit better as a pure archetype. But for now, if you want to play the deck competitively, I feel like you kind of have to mix it with other stuff like Libromancers to make the most out of the fact that it's a generic engine that doesn't lock you into anything, and you can use it in tandem with other ritual stuff to be able to get some searches and some good disruption. So yep, that's the deck, guys. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our upcoming content, and we'll see you next time.